If you're interested in making beautiful crafts on a budget, you're in the right place. We strive to bring you new and original craft projects that you've never seen before. Today we're going to be creating 6 original Dollar Tree Christmas decorations we hope that you'll really enjoy creating, and one special craft that you can create memories with, sharing with your grandchildren. Well, let's get started on our first original Christmas decoration. So now we're going to start this by saving some money using Dollar Tree items. We have 2 wreath forms, some ornament balls. We'll start by using 20 ornament balls, the color of your choice, and 2 large wreath forms from Dollar Tree. We're just recycling some that we got for free. Then we'll take the balls and we'll put them inside the wreath like this. And we used a few different colors, and of course you can use any color you like. When you're putting in your ornament balls, make sure that the cap ends are facing inside the wreath. Then once your balls are in place, take the other wreath that you have and put that on top. Then we'll zip tie the wreath forms together, and we're using black zip ties that we got at Dollar Tree. You'll want to place your zip ties at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock so that they're evenly spaced around the wreath. When you're putting on your zip ties, just snug them up. You don't want them too tight. We're going to zip tie the outer rings together, very much like we did the inside. And when you're zip tying the outer ring, you'll want to put your zip ties in between the ones you did on the inside. Then once you're finished that, just give it a little shake and make sure it's all secure before cutting off the ends of your zip ties. This is a very easy craft that you're really going to enjoy. Then we'll just snip off the ends of our zip ties and move along. If you like what you see on our channel, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Your support is greatly appreciated as we are trying to start this new channel. Getting back to our craft, we're going to be using a string of fairy lights that are waterproof. So we'll just wrap the end of the fairy lights really tight around one end and just sort of wrap them around the wreath. Now you could use hot glue or zip ties for your lights, but I chose not to. Just wrap them around the wire and they'll hold just fine. And just zigzag your lights across the center, going from the top to the bottom and alternating that way. And the lights I'm using here are battery operated, and there's 6 different modes on a timer. That way I can just set it and forget it. Zip your battery pack to the wreath by the loop on it there. And we'll finish this cap in a second here. Now I'm going to be setting a Dollar Tree platter on top. Now I'm using clear here, but you could use any color that you want and just match it up with the balls that you're using. Now I used Gorilla Hot Glue, but you could use E6000 as well if you wanted, if you're putting it outside. It will withstand the elements, so you can go with that if you want. So I've got that platter glued on. Now you'll want to flip it over, and we'll take another clear platter and put that on the other side. Now one of the reasons I chose clear was because the lights really shine through nicely on this. There's lots of colors of platters that you could use. Let's say you wanted to use a blue one to match your ornaments. You could use that, and that would look good. In this case, we're going to be using a blue star that we got with our ornaments, and that was free. And it just happened to match the ornaments really well. So we'll glue that onto our platter. If you happen to use a blue platter, you could always use a white snowflake or some other embellishment that matches your ornament. If you had them, I think some red ornaments and a white snowflake would really be spectacular. And we put the same decoration on both sides, which makes for a nice 2-sided ornament that you could hang in your window. Or you could hang it off your deck or outside somewhere. It's really a multi-purpose kind of ornament. And now we're going to cover our battery box with some metallic ribbon just to give it that ornament cap look. And just be careful not to cover your button to turn it on and off. When you're putting on this, just make sure that you have enough to go around your whole box. Once we do the bottom part, or the top, depending how you look at it, we'll cut this ribbon in half and we'll put that below there so we can leave access for our button. And the battery on this should last you the whole season because of the timer. And it's really great because, like I said, you can set it and forget it. If you have it outside, let's say you started at 6 o'clock at night, you can set it and it'll go for 6 hours and be off for 18 hours, so you don't have to go in and out turning it on and off. So now let's make a hanger with some zip ties. We'll put one on the inside and just snug it up a bit. Then we'll take another zip tie, put it through there, And then we'll snug that up a little bit, but not super tight. And if you're happy with the placement, then we can tighten up the inside one. And then make sure that it's hanging straight. If not, you can always move it. This craft really came together well and very easily. I sure like the look of it. Look at that glow. And the colors, magnifique. What do you think? Now we're going to start a craft that's really easy that you can do with your grandchildren. First, we have 2 platters from Dollar Tree and these window clings. You could paint one of the platters white, or you could use a platter of a different color of your choice. And Dollar Tree does sell a lot of different colors, so you can use one clear and one that's colored. So take your window cling and take the cellophane off the front part, then just put it down on the clear platter. And you'll want to make sure you put that face down and give it a quick check because you don't want it going on backwards. So on this I took the easy way out. I just laid it down and made sure it was secure. But you could take it all apart and lay it out on your plate however you like. Using my method, it comes out nice and straight for you. Then I just slowly peeled it back so that all my letters stayed lined up. Hey, where are you guys from? I love hearing where my viewers are watching from. Write it in the comments below. This project is hot glue free so that it's safe and fun for everyone. Now we'll take our battery operated lights and we'll just tape those in on the clear spaces. The kids can do this, no problem. Lights are cool to the touch. So who out there is going to make this just for fun? So then just flip your lid over and make sure that all your letters are going the right way. Then we're going to take some Scotch clear tape and we're going to tape it all together. Then I forgot my hanger again. So all you really have to do is separate it a little bit. Take a knotted cord and slip that in there. Then just tape around the edges of the cord to give it some strength so it doesn't fall out. Then once our plates are together, we'll take the battery cord and we'll Scotch tape that down, and we'll take some masking tape and put the battery pack on the back and secure that. Use Dollar Tree lights, so this is a very affordable project. Let's have fun with Dollar Tree stickers now. I think this sticker pack really goes well with our window cling. Then just embellish it any way the kids like. Now I made this for my grandson and he loves it because he loves trucks. And here's another original craft that was suggested to us from one of our viewers. We're going to be making a snowman out of embroidery hoops. So we'll start off by removing our fasteners. You can either flatten them, cut them off. You can buy these at dollar store, but I would recommend going to a thrift shop because you can usually get them for about 25 cents or so. And you can see here how I removed the lumpy little ends and just flattened it out. You don't have to get too fancy here. And I have another one here, and I'm going to be doing the same thing because we want a smooth surface for our hoops. Then when our hoops are all ready, we'll be painting them white. I used an acrylic white paint on ours. Then I saw this takeaway container in my stash of stuff, and I thought that thing really looks like a hat. So that's what I'm going to make it, a hat. We do recommend recycling and reusing things that you may have already, so you don't have to throw them out. And it saves you money. Now I'm just going to check it for size, and that's perfect. Now I'll take it outside and paint it black. Now we'll just zip tie our embroidery hoops together, small one on the top and the 2 bigger ones below. Then I turn the zip tie bulky parts into the inside and give it a little dab of hot glue. Then I use some battery operated lights, and these have 6 modes. Now here I am just sort of gently hot gluing them into the middle, and I used 1 strand for the whole snowman and just sort of loosely place them around so that you get a good distribution of light. And now you can see here that I'm crossing over to the next hoop, and I'm just lightly hot gluing that at the seam. Then continue to work your way up to the head, and the battery pack should be on top of the head. And now I'm going to move on to my meshing. These are just scraps that I'm using from another project that I've done, but you could use the white mesh from Dollar Tree as well. So now you'll take your framework and put that on top of your mesh. Then you'll take some hot glue and fold over the mesh and glue it onto the sides. Once that's glued in, we'll flip it over and we'll mesh the other side, doing the same thing. Take your mesh, put it on there, put hot glue on one side, tack that on there, and then just fold it around. So just work your way around, doing a little bit at a time until you have the whole side covered. And as you can see here at the join, I overlapped it a bit, and that will give it a little better strength and sort of cover up our metal parts a bit. Then once our snowman is all meshed, we'll move on to the hat. So what I'm using here is some foam core, and I'm going to be tracing around the hat so I can put the piece of styrofoam onto the back to make it a solid piece. So I just used the hat as a template, traced it out, and now I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut that pattern out. Then I'm going to test fit it inside our little hat. If everything works out great, then we'll glue it in. Once that's all together, I'm going to be adding some red ribbon to the front of the hat. Just add glue to the back and put your ribbon on there so it doesn't show. Then I used a little bit of Dollar Tree garland to add a little bling to my hat band. This little guy turned out so cute. I just love him and I've kept him. He's hanging on my door right now. I hope you're all still settled in and you have lots of popcorn left. We have a couple more original crafts coming up soon, but we'll just finish this one off. And I hope you stay tuned for the rest. Now I'll move on to my facial details. I just cut out some orange foam roughly and painted it in with some brown acrylic paint just to give it some depth. Don't be too worried, you don't have to get too fancy with this, just draw in some lines, that's fine. Then for the rest of the face, I just used some black foam card, cut out the back of the eyes, put a rhinestone on each one, cut out a little mouth, and then here on the hat, I'm just going to put glue on the back and put that at a little angle so he looks kind of cute onto our snowman. And I did use Gorilla Hot Glue, but if you want to use some E6000 if you're putting this outside, you could go right ahead and do so. After putting the hat on, I could see too much inside the hat, so now I'm going to be making a little black foam brim to put inside the hat. And I used the other half that I cut from the original hat as my template. Put the hat on first before gluing everything else down, and I think adding that brim really finished off the hat. So just use some Gorilla Hot Glue and glue down the eyes, the mouth, and center your little nose. So now I'm going to add some buttons to our snowman, and these are some little white snowflakes that we got at Dollar Tree, but we painted them chrome and added a little rhinestone to the middle. So I just put 3 of them there on the center. So one of my viewers said that I used 3 balls on mine, which is true, and they only used 2. Which do you think is right? Using 2 balls for a snowman or 3? And now we'll just put on some arms. Now you could use some real branches here, but these are just some little plastic things I have in my stash, so I'm just going to zip tie those on there. Then you can just flip it over and maybe add another zip tie or secure it with some hot glue just to keep it in place. Now I'm going to attach the battery pack to the back of the hat through the mesh. Just put it right side up. And once again, I've forgotten my hanger, but you can just put one through the hat, beside the hat. Just put it through the mesh there. And just use a zip tie for the hanger. And I saw this on a greeting card, so I thought I'd put a little cardinal on my snowman's arm. So what do you think? Pretty cute, isn't he? Now, using some clear Dollar Tree platters, I'm going to be doing a project that will bring you some joy. So on the front of the plate, we're going to be using some tape just as a guide because we have to put our letters on, sort of backwards, on the inside. And this will help us maintain our proportions properly. If you happen to have a Cricut, you could make letters with that and this would be a whole lot easier, but we're going to do it this way with some tape and have some fun. This is a craft for everyone because not everyone has a Cricut. So once we have our template in place, we'll flip it over and on the inside, we'll use some wide painter's tape for our J. For the bottom of my J, I just used the bottom curve of the plate to get a nice curve. Once that was done, I put that down and I put my Y on top so that I would get the same heights for the letters. And I'm using wide tape here because I want a lot of light to show through after we do the painting. And I'm using the same tape so that I can keep the scale of each letter about the same. And by using a nice craft knife or an X-Acto blade, you can make cutting of the corners a whole lot easier. And as you can see here, by using other letters underneath, that both of the letters or all of the letters are the same size. So now that our letters are done, I'll take that out and spray it red. Why? Because I have red. And it's a nice classic Christmas color. But you can use any color that you like. And here's my assistant Harry. It's so hard to get things done with these guys. Now I didn't show you this in the videos, but I also painted 3 of those clear plates white. And this is one part I really enjoy. I find it very satisfying, taking the tape off and revealing what we've done. Now while you're doing this, if you have a sensitivity to smells, you could keep your other plates face down so that you don't smell as much of that paint on your plates. And the most satisfying is, I actually got it right. All of my letters are facing the right way. So I used battery operated string lights for our little plates here, and I used one for each letter. And when you're putting in your lights, just tape them into the clear area of the plate. Then once all your lights are in, just tape the bottom part of your line to the bottom of the letter. And now I'm going to be putting on my white plate on the back. And here I'm going to start where the wire is, and I'll be using some hot glue and some E6000. And use a well-ventilated area because this E6000 does not smell very good. Then just work your way around the plate, doing a little dabs of E6000 and put them all together. Then I put some Scotch tape on that just to help secure it and keep it in place. And because it doesn't really show, I just keep it on. So one of the reasons I'm using the E6000 is because these are going to be outdoor decorations. So here we have some dowels that we bought at Home Depot, and we're going to be attaching those onto the back of our plates. On one side, I'm going to be using some hot glue just to sort of set it quick. And on the other side, I'll be using E6000 so that I get a nice permanent bond on the back. And before you secure it all in place, make sure that the dowel is centered to the letter. And then to attach or further attach our dowels, we'll be using some white duct tape to help secure that to the back as well. And before we move on, just flip it over to make a quick check to see if that dowel is centered through the letter. You want it to stand straight when you put it in the ground. So now I'm going to be taking some of that duct tape and taping down my excess wire. Then I'm going to take some hot glue and put that on the back of my battery pack and glue that to the plate. But make sure it's not too close to the plate because you want to be able to open that up to change the batteries. Then you'll repeat this same method with all the letters, putting in the lights and all the extras like the dowel and such. Then, once you've done all that, we'll turn to the front and we'll take some strips of pearl and we'll put those on the outside edge of our letters. This gives it a really nice finish, and it also helps with legibility and readability when there's no lights on. And on tight curves, it helps to put on just a little bit at a time. Then you'll do the same process, running your beads down the borders of all the letters. I hope you're still with us. We still have one more really amazing project left to go. You're not going to want to miss this one. So now we're using some white Dollar Tree garland, and we're going to wrap that around our dowel. We'd just like to send out a big thank you to all of our viewers. The growth of our channel has been absolutely amazing. I am just stunned by it. And it's all because of viewers like you out there sharing our videos, commenting, watching, and just being great viewers. We really appreciate it, and thank you very much for your support. Getting back to our project, we'll take the garland and we'll secure that near the top, and we'll wrap it around the dowel. And you'll wrap your garland to about 4 inches from the bottom, and then you'll take a pair of pruning shears and cut the tips off so they're angled and sharp. And we wanted a candy cane look, so we took some red garland and wrapped that around the white. I think I'd be very proud to put this out on my lawn and bring the joy of Christmas back home. And now for our grand finale and very special project. A very impressive decoration that will be great to greet your guests in your home at the front entry or for a very special Christmas event. So let's start with some Dollar Tree hula hoops. And for this you will need 3 of them. Now we'll take them apart and we'll get busy taking out the noisemakers from the inside. Don't know what these are, so handle with care. So we're going to be going pretty quick on this one. If there's anything that you're in doubt of, just go back and check on the video. And if you do have any questions, just leave your comments below. So take your hula hoop that's apart and we'll take some measurements as seen here. Just use some scissors and cut the following lengths. So for the head, we're going to be doing that one at 41 inches, the middle at 57 inches, and the bottom snowball at 77 inches. Once all of your measurements are cut, you'll put them all together, lay them out, and it should look something like this. Then just use some Gorilla hot glue to put the ends together so you get a good hold. Now if you want, you could spray paint them white, but I used a white chalk paint and painted them white, and it took a couple coats. And here we are using recycled materials. We got this ice cream pail for nothing. We're going to cut that in half because we're going to be giving our snowman a bucket of snowballs. And just cut in between the handles as you can see here. And when you're done that, just take your handle off at one end. We cut one in half but found out we needed the full length of the handle. And here's another takeout container, so just cut that one in half. I'll be using this to make the hat. If it cracks a bit, don't worry, it'll be fine. For the brim of our hat, we'll be using the ice cream pail lid, and we'll just cut that in half. So I'll just do a rough layout, and you can see how it works here. Then back out to the spray booth, we're going to be painting our bucket red and our hat black. So then, while we're waiting for that paint to dry, we'll zip tie and hot glue our hoops together. Now I'll be moving on to my lights. Now these lights I bought at Lowe's. And big tip, try to buy them off-season, maybe after Christmas, before Christmas at a good Black Friday sale or something. But try to get them cheaper than they would be retail for sure. Like we've said before, prices have gone up so much lately, it's crazy. We bought our lights probably 2 years ago on sale, and they only cost $15. You could use any set of warm white lights. We just happened to get these ones on sale, and they are spectacular. This string has 480 lights. And whatever lights you decide to use, do a rough layout of it first to make sure you have enough lights to cover the area that you want the lights to be in. Once you're happy with your layout, just zip tie them in place. Then when you come to the joint of a hoop, zip tie them in so that you get a smooth transition to the next part of the body. For more stabilization and some extra support, we took a cord and we ran it down the center of our snowman. So we'll start by tying that at the bottom of the hoop. Then we'll want to go up the snowman, tie it around the middle there, and keep doing that at each joint. Remember to keep the cord taut, but don't pull it too tight because we don't want to distort the shape of our little snowman. And leave a good bit extra on each end so that you can use it as a tie down in case you're putting it outside in windy conditions. And we put our plug-in at the bottom of our snowman and tied that in with a zip tie. Then at the opposite end, at the top of the head, we put in a couple zip ties for hangers. Now that the hanger's attached and the lights are in, we're going to be gluing on our mesh. The mesh that we're using here is 21 inches, and you can buy that at either Walmart or Michael's. Just make sure before you mesh that all your zip tie ends are on the inside, then take some hot glue and start to mesh. Oh yes, and make sure your lights are all on the inside as well. So keep your mesh square and don't worry about the corners as you're gluing it in. And just remember to glue and press, and then turn it over and do the other side, making sure that you keep it square. And at the joints, overlap your mesh just to give that section a little more strength. And just glue that around and just sort of wrap the mesh inside, tuck that inside there like that. I like to finish by cutting off the excess, then I'll glue and fold, sort of turning it around the hoop. After you've put that first layer on, the reason I want it to be square is that I will have to patch the bottom of the first hoop, so I like to match up the seams. If you keep it square, it's a lot easier to do, and it doesn't show so much. Then we'll just cut a little edge by the cord and fold over our excess mesh to match up at the bottom of the other side. Then you'll continue using the same meshing method, doing the body and the head until your whole snowman is meshed. And don't forget to do both sides. And once I've finished all my main meshing, I'll take another piece and put that over the top in the front only, and that gives us a very nice glow for the lights. And we'll glue that down the same as we did the other layers of mesh. And now we'll move on to some fun stuff and bring our snowman to life. We'll start with the nose. We use some orange foam sheet for this and just cut out a rough carrot. Then we just have to paint in some lines. Anything will look pretty good, so don't worry about how it ends up. Then we're going to be putting a back on our bucket. We'll just take some foam core and trace out our pail. Cut that out and glue it on the back of your bucket. This will give us a good surface to secure it to the front of our snowman, and to make it like an actual bucket when we use our spray foam later. So I had some spray foam left over from another project, so I thought I'd use that to sort of help fill that basket real good and look like snow. And I think we probably used a little bit too much, so I would say probably stop around 3/4 if you're going to be doing this. To make our snowballs, we just got some old ornaments, painted them white, and sparkled them up. And now we're going to be putting the snowballs into our foam snow. And that foam really does like to expand, as you can see here. So we just cut off the excess on the back. And you have to cut that flush because we need that surface there to glue it to our snowman. So just whittle away at the excess and take your time because you don't want to take off too much either. Now let's make our hat. And just like our basket, we're going to be tracing on foam core to get the shape of the back. Then just cut out your shape and glue it into the back of your hat. Then we're going to be filling our hat with some florist foam, so just cut it down to size so it fits inside your hat. Just measure for size and trim it down. And there's my sweet Harry, always around all day long. Then we'll just glue that onto our brim. And our brim, once again, is a ice cream pail cover cut in half. And we're not going to worry about the broken part because that'll be covered up. Then we'll just take some red ribbon to put around our hat. Just glue it on one side in the back, then wrap it around the hat and glue it on the other end. Then we'll take a small floral pick and glue that on the front. Then we'll take our hat and glue that on the top of our snowman. And then for some buttons, we took some Dollar Tree snowflakes and painted them chrome. Then for some extra glam, I glued on some rhinestones in the center of the snowflakes. Then we just put 3 of them down the center. And to find center, you can use the cord that you ran down the center earlier as your guide. It could get a little cold out there, so I'm going to give our little snowman a nice little scarf. Just wrap it around his neck. Make sure that you have some excess, then trim it, and then fringe the edges. Just add some glue to secure your scarf. Then just glue down your snowflake buttons. Now we'll move on to the eyes. We'll just cut some black foam into a couple rounds and put some rhinestones in the middle. Remember to do a rough layout first before gluing your face down. We gave ours some cute little dimples. I used Gorilla Hot Glue, but you could use E6000 instead. Now we're going to zip tie some branches on for arms, and you could use real branches if you have some, or use some picks that you have lying around. Put your zip tie as close to the hoop as possible when you're putting it through there to attach the arm. I used 2 zip ties to give it some security and then use some hot glue as well. Then I covered up that branch with another branch just to make it look more frosty. And now we're going to attach the bucket using E6000 and hot glue. And we're going to use plenty of it, especially on the bottom of the bucket and on the hoop where all the contact points are. So remember to use quite a bit, and when you put it down, hold it firmly for quite a while just to get really good adhesion. So we want to make this look like our snowman is carrying a bucket of snowballs, so we're going to be hot gluing his arm to the handle. And just a reminder, we used half the pail and a whole handle. And for a final touch, we painted our spray foam white and added some glitter. Now that's a spectacular snowman. Once again, I'd love to thank you all for watching and crafting with me here today. I'm just kind of wondering which one of these projects you like best. Just leave your comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.